Hello, and welcome to the Whatever It Takes to Spread Kindness kickoff event. My name is Elise Dixon, and I will serve as the technical producer for today's event. In honor of National Bullying Prevention Month, local teens will discuss ways to spread kindness, acceptance, and live judgment free. This conversation is focused on the ways we demonstrate kindness to ourselves and others. However, as part of this kickoff event, our teens and guest speakers may share their own experiences related to bullying. This may be difficult for you to hear. It's important that you take care of your own emotions during this event, so feel free to log off at any time. And if you feel you need a little extra support, please talk to a trusted adult or reach out to our crisis text line by texting CLUB to 741-741. At this time, I will introduce your teen moderators. Our first moderator is Emily. She is a senior at Cleveland Charter High School and a member of the Boys and Girls Clubs of the West Valley. Welcome, Emily. Next, we have Samiha from West Valley Boys and Girls Clubs in California. She is currently a high school senior and wants to create an impact on her surroundings with her activities. Welcome, Samiha. Our next moderator is Kurt. Kurt is the secretary of his Keystone Club at Boulder Highway Boys and Girls Clubs. Welcome, Kurt. Next, we have Aaliyah. Aaliyah is the secretary of Boulder Highway Clubhouse Boys and Girls Club's Keystone Club as well. She strives for a future in photography. Welcome, Aaliyah. And last, but certainly not least, we have Lily, a Boys and Girls Club alumni who attended the club for 10 years and currently works for the club as well. Lily attends Queen University in Charlotte and is passionate about providing opportunities to kids who are typically looked over. Welcome, Lily. Now, at this time, I will turn it over to your teen moderators. Lily, it's all yours.
Thanks, Miss Elise. Before we get into today's discussion, I would like to set a few group agreements to guide our discussion. Since this discussion will be focused on kindness, I want to encourage everyone watching to practice kindness as we communicate with each other. This includes using kind words as you participate in the discussion. Give me a thumbs up if you think we can follow that agreement. Perfect. Everyone watching, please use the chat and give us a thumbs up as well. Now that we have group agreements, I would like to introduce our panelists for our discussion. Model, actress, dancer, philanthropist, and entrepreneur Damaris Lewis is on a mission to illuminate the world with positivity. She has modeled for countless brands, including Sports Illustrated Swimsuit Edition, Garnier, Yves Saint Laurent, and Agent Provocateur. She also served as Prince's principal dancer on worldwide tours from 2011 to 2016. She is a member of the Boys and Girls Club Hall of Fame in recognition of her longtime support for the organization and being a proud alumni. Damaris continues to work hard to ensure the next generation has positive influences in and out of the entertainment industry. Damaris is featured in Spike Lee's Academy Award-winning film, BlacKkKlansman, and will be starring alongside Hilary Swank in the upcoming noir thriller, Fatal. Welcome to the panel, Damaris. Now I'd like to send it to Kurt, who will lead us through our icebreaker.
Thanks, Lily. Our icebreaker is called Pick a Place. Each person is going to think of a place they have visit. It could be somewhere in their local community or a trip they've taken out of town. You will then share with the group where you went, who you went with, and their favorite memory from that trip. Does anyone have any questions? Okay, I'll go first. So the place I chose is Arizona. I actually went by myself, and my favorite memory is that I had gotten to meet my dad's side of the family, and I got to see my brother. All right, Emily, can you go next?
The place I went to, it's kind of basic, but I went to my school for a school play. It was at night, and I went with my friend Angelina. And it was a really nice experience because it was really cool to see the actors, be so passionate in their roles. All right, Samia, you're next.
So the place that I have chosen is called Rotherwood Swamp Forest. It is in Sylhet, Bangladesh, and I have been there twice with my family. It's one of my favorite places, and the best part about it is going to the watchtower on a boat through the forest, and it's just absolutely beautiful. Lily, can you go next?
Yeah. So my favorite place is actually Jackson, Wyoming. A couple summers ago, I went on a camping trip across the country with a group of teens, and that is one of my favorite memories that I've had in the past couple of years. Aaliyah, can you share?
One of my favorite places that I've been to is Atlanta, Georgia, and my favorite memory is being able to spend time with my family more than I do now. Damaris, do you want to go next? We'd love to hear about your favorite place that you visited and what made it so special.
Thank you, Aaliyah. My favorite place that comes to mind is actually Turkey. I went to Turkey and I was actually with a bunch of people from work, but I didn't know anybody. And that's actually what made the trip so special to me. It was the first time I got to experience another culture, and I actually learned that there was a lot that I didn't know. So coming from New York, it was a really great experience to sit back and listen and learn for once, and it's forever a trip that I remember.
Thank you for sharing. Thank you all for sharing. I've learned a lot about each of you. Now we're going to get into why we're here today. We are here today to have a discussion about kindness and explore ways that we can be more kind, especially in our current environment. We are going to start off by sharing a few examples of things we faced and how to choose kindness. I would like to share my personal experience about bullying. I was in seventh grade when I was going to a new school. It was the middle of the year, so everybody had already established clubs and friend groups. And I was in second period when there's a girl who ended up being my best friend walked in, and she was into things that normally most kids weren't into. So she was wearing a cosplay outfit when she a lot of the kids at the other table were making fun of her and laughing at her and telling her how stupid the outfit was. And I went over to one of the girls at the table and told her that she should stop because she wears a high ponytail every day. And if I was bullying you for doing that, then you would feel that I was bullying you for nothing and that it was normal because it's just a high ponytail. And a lot of her friends were still laughing, and I told them that I would never be friends with them because of the way that they treat other people. And another incident was we were in the locker room and they were making fun of the clothes she was wearing. And I turned to her and I told her that she should stop because she can get into a lot of trouble encouraging her friends to bully people and bullying people herself. And she pretty much stopped after that and her friends stopped. But I really felt like I stood up in that situation because nobody was really doing anything. Everybody was tending to join in. And I don't really see anything wrong with her clothes or anything wrong with her cosplay. So, have any of you ever dealt with a similar situation? If so, share in the chat and to let us know. Now we're going to turn over to Kurt, who will share an experience that he's dealt with racial injustice. And remember that we're talking about a difficult topic. So if you need some extra support, talk to a trusted adult or reach out to the crisis text line. And you can text club to 741-741. Kurt, do you mind sharing your experience?
Thanks, Aaliyah, and thank you for sharing your experience. I want to share some of the challenges I faced being a young Black man in my community. So this happened last year. I was at school and it was this racist group of friends. They had came up to me and then they said, "Oh, you don't belong here and stuff because you're Black. I hope everyone in your family die. I hope someone come kill you. Go kill yourself." And they was calling me all types of N words and stuff. And so I at the time I was dealing with depression, and so I was having nightmares and like flashbacks of them coming up to me saying all those stuff. And so one day I had grabbed a knife and then I went to kill myself. And I told my team director, Mr. Sheldon and Aaliyah, like my plan on killing myself. And then they said it's not worth it because a lot of people love you, and would you rather be alive or be in hell? And so because that's where you're gonna go if you commit suicide. And so to this day, I gotta say thank you to Leah and Mr. Sheldon for helping me, because if it wasn't for them, then I would have been dead. Emily, do you mind?
Thanks so much for sharing, Kurt and Leah. I know it takes a lot to share your, personal experiences out with other people. It's also really important for us to think about the power of our words. Words can build, each other up, or it can tear us down. Being kind means using our words and actions to build each other up. That is, before we have the discussion, I would like to have the Boys and Girls Club ambassador of emotional wellness to, speak and talk about how to strive to be more kind in today's society. Damaris, we would love to hear from you.
Ooh, first and foremost, thank you so much for sharing those stories. Everybody on this call inspires me already, and I'm very honored to be here. There's a phrase that comes to mind, and it's a phrase that's really helped me in the past couple of years. And it's simply, people can only meet you as far as they've met themselves. So I'll say that again. People can only meet you as far as they've met themselves. And when it comes to kindness, it really is one of the biggest lessons that I've learned in my career. In 15 years in the entertainment industry, I've seen a lot of things that aren't kind. And I've heard a lot of things that aren't kind. I've been on sets with a lot of things that aren't kind. And I had to ask myself which one I was going to choose. And so when I finally realized that kindness comes when you own your choice to be you, that's when things started clicking, right? Because a lot of us are, we're born into families that may not agree with us. We're living in societies that may not agree with us. We sometimes go to school and we have teachers that don't agree with us. And there's a lot of people around us who don't agree with us. But especially today, I think it's so important, and I'm so honored to have this conversation with you guys, to really get into the nitty-gritty of what makes you you. Because there's only one you. So in order to give kindness and receive kindness, you really have to spend some time with yourself. And once we understand that everyone is not going to receive kindness the same way that you give it, that's when we can start asking the fun questions that say, you know what? I'm proud of myself for being kind. I'm proud of you, Kurt. I'm proud of you, Aaliyah. I'm proud of you, Emily. I'm proud of you, Lily. I'm proud of you, Samiha, if I pronounced that right. And really, truly, as I stand here in a business that is pretty intense when it comes to opinions, I've had to learn through 15 years to understand that what people say is what they think, and it has nothing to do with me. But that takes a lot of time. And on the back end of things, there are so many beautiful things you can do for yourself every single day that no matter what the day held, by the time you get to bed, we can come together with our minds, because I say your mind is your home. If you want to create a home for kindness, you have to create that home in your mind. It all starts up here and then it goes out. So I can't wait to get into this conversation. And I'm, again, so very honored to talk with you guys today. There's so much more that we can get into.
Wow, thank you so much for sharing. So at this point, we'd like to ask you a few questions. Our first question is, have you ever dealt with social pressures? And if so, how did you overcome that?
Thank you. Yes, I have dealt with social pressures. I'm still dealing with them, especially in our highly technology-based age. One of the earliest social pressures that I can remember is when I first started modeling, I was told that my shoulders were too wide, I was told that my boobs were too big, and I was told that my hips were too large. Which, you know, in retrospect, I'm like, no, I was perfect the way I was. And I realized that for the next probably 10 years of my life, I dealt with a lot of anxiety anytime I didn't fit into someone else's box. So my social pressures really came from other people telling me what I should look like, what my hair should look like, what my body should look like, what I should sound like, who I should hang out with, where I should go. And I believed them for a really long time. And, you know, they're still prominent today, and I'm still healing myself from a lot of the narrative in my head that I no longer believe. But yes, I do deal with them, and overcoming them really comes from realizing that I love myself more than I love their opinions. And once I realized that I'm pretty awesome, overcoming social pressures, it doesn't mean that it's not hard, but it does get easier.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing.
What are social pressures and what is social anxiety?
What are social pressures and what is social anxiety? In my opinion, social pressures are pressures that were created by others to keep what they believe is order. Social anxiety is what happens when who you are on the inside doesn't necessarily agree with the unkind energy that you're getting from those same people who created these social orders. And that's pretty much my definition for that.
All right. Have you ever had social anxiety?
Yes. Have I ever had social anxiety? I have had social anxiety, and I would say that my social anxiety has been much higher in the past couple of years because of how much access we have to everyone. I think that the technology that we have is amazing. It's why we're on the phone right now, but you guys are probably the first generation that is intaking so much information every single day, right? And essentially from the comfort of your home sometimes. And for me, of my social anxiety came from feeling like I wasn't enough. Going on my phone and seeing what everybody else was doing when I didn't have work, when I couldn't travel, seeing how many likes somebody had, and I didn't have as many likes as them, and then comparing myself to them. And so this is a thing that I, still go through, but now I can catch myself. But yes, I will say that I have dealt with social anxiety, and my easiest way for the first step to overcoming them for me is being aware of them. Because once you know you're there, they're there, now you can tackle.
Thanks. This helps everyone watching understand what we mean when we talk about this.
What we mean when we talk about social anxiety, yes. So there's so many different emotions that the body processes every single day. And there's actually something in your system called your fight or flight response. So it's basically a part of your brain that was developed to protect you when you sense fear. In today's society, I don't know if you know what an algorithm is, but every single person who's watching this right now has an algorithm. And an algorithm is basically what you search for online, other stuff comes up. So in today's society, I would say that one of our biggest social anxieties is really trying to understand other people through these devices without ever actually speaking to them, and also having people understand you without ever actually speaking to them. So for everybody who's watching, I want you to understand that when we talk about social anxiety, we talk about these feelings inside of us, whether they're fear or being afraid or being scared or being unsure, and very real emotions that should never, ever go overlooked, but they come from things outside of ourselves, hence the word social.
Thank you so much. I know you've kind of talked about this already, but how do you personally deal with social anxiety and peer pressure in your day-to-day life?
So, thank you, Lily. In my day-to-day life, when it comes to actually dealing with the social anxiety, I make sure that I have a tribe. I make sure that I have people around me who love me, who understand me, who I can talk to, which is not an easy thing all the time, especially if you're only around your family and they may not understand, or maybe your friends don't understand you. That brave story that Aaliyah gave is a prime example of something like that, a superhero like her coming in and really showing another perspective. So when it comes to my daily way of conquering these things, I always remember to breathe. The most powerful thing that we have is our breath. We can go days without food and days without water, but not very long without breathing. And so when we do feel these anxieties and these pressures in the body, it's probably because we might be holding our breath in anticipation of something else that comes. So what I really, really, really try to do is in the morning when I wake up, I don't know what's ahead of me, but I'll breathe. And I'll breathe slow and I'll slow down. And then at night, right before I go to bed, I make sure that before I go to sleep, I'm also breathing in a way that calms me down so I can get rest, because you have no idea what tomorrow can bring.
Thank you so much. That's great advice.
You're welcome.
How do we build empathy for others?
How do we build empathy for others? That's an amazing question. In order to build empathy for others, we have to build empathy for ourselves. It is very hard to understand what someone else is going through without giving kindness to yourself. And the reality is, it's very hard to understand what someone else is going through if you've never been through it yourself. I think we live in an age with a lot of assumption. We assume that people were taught the same values as us and should know how to do certain things. But the reality is sometimes that you're going to walk into a room and there's going to be a bunch of people who don't look like you and they don't think like you. And you're tasked with, do I give anger or do I give empathy? Because they don't understand me. And so I always challenge people to understand that if you walk into a room and no one understands you, it might be your job to spread the kindness in that room. It might be your task at hand to be the change that you wish to see in that room. So in order to spread that empathy, you really have to be that empathy. You have to be the person who, like Aaliyah's amazing story, goes over and shows other people a different side. Now, that doesn't mean they're always going to receive what you say, but when you go to sleep at night, you'll feel a little bit better knowing that you were able to stop and say, that person may not have understood me. So it might not have actually been them trying to be mean, but it could have been them not really showing any empathy themselves. So am I going to meet them where they are, or am I going to take the higher road and learn how to be kind to myself so that I can then give it off?
That's good to know. Thanks.
You're welcome.
I know a lot of us are spending time connecting on social media. So my question is, what are some ways to demonstrate kindness online and on social platforms?
Such a beautiful question. Yes, a lot of us are spending so much time on social media and social platforms and computers. I know a lot of you are doing school digitally. And one of the easiest ways, in my opinion, to spread kindness when it comes to social media is to listen before you react. It's very easy to see a post or to see a comment from someone, and if it's not a very kind comment, you immediately want to reply. You immediately want to react. You immediately want to make sure that somebody else doesn't get hurt. In the long run, what happens though is you've tightened up your body so very quickly in order to respond to this person that now you're feeling anxious and you're feeling the anxiety. So one of the things for me is always when you get a comment that might be negative, or when you read a comment that might be negative, remember, this person is behind a device just like you. So I would highly recommend that you stop, you remind yourself that you're on a device, and then if it is in you to reply, you think about what your reply is going to be. Another way is really simply know that you don't have to answer. You don't have to answer. You say, you know what? I'm bigger than that. I don't got to answer. And to be honest with you, one of the best things that you can do is step away from the phone. Take a little break from your device, blink your eyes, since most of us, I don't know if you know, we're blinking at a rate of 60% less when we're on our devices. So, but yeah, and I wear glasses too, right? So you want to blink your eyes, you want to just come in and you want to ask yourself, what am I going to gain by replying to this person? What are they going to gain by having the honor of having me reply to them? And really sitting back and knowing that you are in control of your own device, and talking to your friends, really, truly talking to your friends. If there's something that you want to type and you're not unsure about it, type it out, read it. And then if it doesn't feel right, don't send it. But at least you were able to get it out of your system without it lasting on the internet forever.
Thank you so much for that.
Why do you think it's important to be kind to others, especially this year?
Whew, why is it important to be kind to others, especially this year? Well, as everybody on this call knows, there's a lot going on. And one of the best ways to keep your immune system happy is to be kind. Because when you give out kind, you generally receive kind. And I don't mean from other people, I mean from yourself. In a year where every single day you wake up and it seems like there's another news story, there's another thing that has happened, there's more news about school and health, and pretty much every single day there's just a ton of what it feels like negative information. Kindness is the thing that can retract all of that information. When you read a story and it makes you sad, it's okay to be sad. One of the best ways to be kind to yourself is to let yourself feel. Let yourself be sad. Let yourself be happy. Let yourself be angry. But also, once you let yourself do those things, you pass them on and you say, okay, I'm going to choose kindness today. Because it's a choice. You can choose to be angry. You can choose to be mad, or you can choose to be kind. Just like you chose to do your hair a certain way today, or you chose to pick a blue pen instead of a green pen. In a year like this year, you really want to wake up and ask yourself, all right, what am I going to be today? I think I'm going to be kind.
Good to know. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Being kind to others is essential, but so is being kind to yourself.
Mhm.
And as we mentioned before, I know we discussed this earlier, but what are some ways you demonstrate kindness to yourself?
So, thank you. One of my personal favorite ways of demonstrating kindness to myself is actually moving my body. I love to dance. I'm a dancer, and my body really loves it when I move. Kindness to me is health, is making sure that I drink enough water to support my system for the day. Make sure that I'm treating my body in a way that makes it feel like I'm giving it love, so that when I do have to handle something that requires my full attention, I have the mental capacity to do so. And I also, I make sure every day that I kind of assess the voice in my head. I assess the words that I'm saying to myself, because thoughts are things. And so if I know that thoughts are things, I know that my thoughts are going to be the yay or nay when it comes to choosing kindness. And everybody's thoughts aren't always amazing, right? Everything isn't rainbows and butterflies, but every single day I make it a priority to stop and say, all right, am I mad about this thing because I'm actually mad about this thing? Or is there something deeper there that I need to really sit with myself with and get out before I react in a certain way? Kindness can look different to everybody. What every single person on this call does to feel good might be different. But kindness is such a beautiful way to end your day every single day. And if anything, it sets you up for some good dreams.
Thank you so much for sharing. So right now, I'd actually like to ask my fellow moderators a similar question. So when you feel overwhelmed or down, what are some of the things you do for self-care? So for example, I take down thoughts on my phone and keep them as notes, and it helps me feel lighter. So Lily, what do you do?
I really like to listen to music, go for a walk, or even go for a drive if I can. But for me, spending time with my friends and family is really good for me. It helps I can talk with them, but I also feel safe when I'm with them and don't feel, I feel like I can talk to somebody.
Great. Emily, what about you?
I like to break out my trusty sketchbook, pull out some music, and, it just really helps me feel more calm and relaxed.
Kurt, what about you? What is something you do to lift your spirits when you feel down?
So some things I do to lift up my spirits when I'm feeling down is I listen to music, draw, meditate, or sometimes tune people out and then like count to 10.
Thanks. Aaliyah, how about you? Could you share what you do?
I would actually like everyone to join me in something I use for self-care. I would like everyone watching to join as well. I'm going to share the 4-7-8 method. We're going to do it 3 times. So you'll breathe in for 4 seconds, hold it for 7 seconds, then breathe out for 8 seconds. So we're going to breathe in 1, 2, 3, 4, hold it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Again, 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Last time in 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Awesome. So we have shared with you what we do for self-care. Feel free to use the chat to share with us what you do to be kind to yourself. And I'd also like to thank Demaris for joining us for our conversation today. Being kind in this world is really something we should do more.
And can I add in one more thing?
Sure.
I just want everybody on this call to know that it took me a really long time to get here. And so I hope that everybody leaves this call giving themselves a huge hug, because you guys are the change that the world needs. And even on the days when you don't feel it, I want you to remember that, because it's here and it's you. And I thank you for showing up for everyone else.
Absolutely, Damaris. I just want to invite all of you guys to take the kindness pledge. And what's the kindness pledge, you may ask? It's our opportunity to make a commitment to be more kind to ourselves and others. To participate in the kindness pledge, please go to myfuture.net and find the Whatever It Takes to Spread Kindness activity. This activity will take you through the steps to pledge to spread more kindness in your community.
All of us, no matter our age, can do our part to make this world a kinder place. So take the time and participate in this challenge. Everyone who submits a kindness pledge will enter a raffle to win some awesome prizes.
So don't wait. Go to myfuture.net, whatever it takes to spread kindness. The club with the most pledges will have the chance to win a Planet Fitness Kindness Grant.
Thank you so much for joining our conversation today. And a huge thanks to Damaris for joining our panel. And the conversation doesn't stop here. We will all have to do our part to be more kind. I can't wait to see your pledges.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you, guys.